FBI Director James Comey testified before Congress about his recommendation to not indict Hillary Clinton. So overall, there were parts of the testimony that were perplexing, and then there were other parts that were just outright angering. So here's one portion of that.
This is information that clearly anybody who had knowledge of security information would know that it would be classified. But I'm having a little bit trouble to see how would you not then know that that was something that was inappropriate to do?
Well, I just want to take one of your assumptions about sophistication. I don't think that our investigation established that she was actually particularly sophisticated with respect to classified information and the levels and the treatment. And so far as we can tell,
isn't she an original classification authority, though?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. There were 3 documents that bore portion markings where you're obligated when something is classified to put a marking on that paragraph.
Right.
And there were 3 that bore C in parens, which means that's confidential classified information.
So a reasonable person who has been a senator, a secretary of state, a first lady, wouldn't a reasonable person know that that was a classified marking as a secretary of state?
Yeah.
A reasonable person. That's all I'm asking.
Yeah, before this investigation, I probably would have said, yes, I'm not so sure. I don't find it incredible.
Director Comey, come on. I mean, I've only been here a few years, and I understand the importance of those markings. So you're suggesting that a long length of time that she had no idea what a classified marking would be? That's your sworn testimony today?
No, not that she would have no idea what a classified marking would be, but it's an interesting question as to whether this question about sophistication came up earlier, whether she was actually sophisticated enough to understand what a C in parens means.
So you're saying this former Secretary of State is not sophisticated enough to understand a classified marking?
No, that's not what I'm saying.
That's a huge statement.
I know what I'm saying. You asked me, did I assume that someone would know? Probably before this investigation I would have. I'm not so sure of that answer any longer. I think it's possible that she didn't understand what a C meant when she saw it in the body of an email like that.
Now, just to reiterate, James Comey stated that he did not believe Hillary Clinton was, quote, particularly sophisticated with respect to classified information and the different levels and how that information should be treated. Now, as Congressman Meadows pointed out, she was a first lady. She was a senator. She was Secretary of State. And you're telling me that she wasn't sophisticated with classified information? She couldn't tell what markings indicated something was classified and what didn't? So basically what he's saying is that, Hillary Clinton, she's not too criminal to be president. She's just not sophisticated enough to be president. I'm sorry, but I don't buy it. Hillary Clinton is very sophisticated. I think she's a very calculated individual. I think she knew what she was doing. Now, getting to a different portion of the hearing, James Comey was asked to acknowledge whether or not Hillary Clinton lied to the public. And we all know that she did lie to the public, so this was kind of an easy question because James Comey, during his press briefing, he said that Hillary Clinton did send and or receive over 100 pieces of classified material, and she maintained that she did not do that. Take a look.
7 email chains concern matters that were classified at the top secret special access program at the time they were sent and received. Those chains involve Secretary Clinton both sending emails about those matters and receiving emails about those same matters.
I did not send classified material, and I did not receive any material that was marked or designated classified.
Now, with that in mind, since we know she lied to the public, here was James Comey's answer to that question.
Did Hillary Clinton lie?
To the FBI? We have no basis to conclude she lied to the FBI.
Did she lie to the public?
That's a question I'm not qualified to answer. I can speak about what she said to the FBI.
Did Hillary Clinton lie under oath?
Not to the FBI, not in a case we're working.
Did you review the documents where Congressman Jim Jordan asked her specifically, and she said, quote, "There was nothing marked classified on my emails, either sent or received," end quote?
I don't remember reviewing that particular testimony. I'm aware of that being said, though.
Did Hillary Clinton break the law?
In connection with her use of the email server, my judgment is that she did not.
Did you just not able to prosecute it, or did Hillary Clinton break the law?
Well, I don't want to give an overly lawyerly answer. The question I always look at is there evidence that would establish beyond a reasonable doubt that somebody engaged in conduct that violated a criminal statute? And my judgment here is there is not.
The FBI does background checks. If Hillary Clinton applied for the job at the FBI, would the FBI give Hillary Clinton a security clearance?
I don't want to answer a hypothetical. The FBI has a robust process in which we adjudicate the suitability of people for employment in the Bureau.
Given the fact pattern you laid out less than 48 hours ago, would a person who had dealt with classified information like that, would that person be granted a security clearance at the FBI?
It would be a very important consideration in a suitability determination.
You're kind of making my point, Director. The point being, because I injected the word Hillary Clinton, you gave me a different answer.
Unbelievable. Something that is so obvious, and he's denying it. He won't answer it. So he also maintained that he does not believe Hillary Clinton broke the law. So committee chairman Jason Chaffetz, who's a Republican from Utah, told Comey, "We believe that you have set a precedent and it's a dangerous one. If your name isn't Clinton, if you're not part of the powerful elite, Lady Justice will act differently. It's a concern that Lady Justice will take off that blindfold and come to a different conclusion." Now, is he true in his assertion? Absolutely, and I'm glad that James Comey heard this because it needed to be said. There are two sets of laws, one for the rich and one for the poor, and this case illustrates it more so than many others. Now also, James Comey elaborated on why intent was so important. So according to The Hill, Comey noted that while a law exists passed in 1917 that allows for indictments to be handed down in cases of gross negligence, it's only been used once since then in an espionage case. No reasonable prosecutor would bring the second case in 100 years focused on gross negligence, Comey said. That's just the way it is. I know the Department of Justice. I know no reasonable prosecutor would bring this case. The legal standard of criminal intent, known as mens rea, prevented charges from being filed in the Clinton case, Comey told lawmakers. So the distinction really is razor thin between gross negligence and extreme carelessness. But when you set up a personal email server in your house, then you are intending to send and receive classified information if you will be conducting official State Department business on that email server. That's common sense. So if she would have known that what she was sending was classified, well then, this would be a different story. She'd be indicted. Look, here's the thing. In other words, this is what you do. Next time you commit a crime, you just say, well, I didn't know that was illegal. I didn't have the intent to commit a crime, so I guess I'm innocent, right? Actually, not going to work on you. Don't try that because you're not Hillary Clinton. Now, here's where I disagree with James Comey, and I have 2 points to make. So, one, her and her lawyers deleted thousands of emails that they deemed, quote, work-related. So, there could have been an email in there that explicitly stated, here is a piece of classified information. I am sending this piece of classified information to you. But we'd never know because she deleted it. So wouldn't it make sense to indict her to get to the bottom of it? And second of all, when you set up a private email server to conduct official State Department business, which you know will be classified material that you send and receive, it's just part of your job, that's intent. The intent is there. Now here's the most egregious part. There is direct evidence that Hillary Clinton instructed one of her advisors to send classified information through an insecure channel. So she instructed her foreign policy advisor, Jake Sullivan, who was having problems sending her information, that he should just remove the classified markings and send it insecure if the problem persisted. So not only does this email in particular prove intent, it proves that she knew about the classified markings. So in other words, she's guilty. There's evidence for it, but James Comey is allowing her to get away with it because her last name is Clinton. So that part of the story was the part that was just perplexing. Here's where we get into the downright angering portion. Hillary Clinton did not swear an oath to tell the truth before meeting with the FBI for 3.5 hours last weekend, and the interview was not recorded, FBI Director James Comey told House lawmakers on Thursday. So let me ask you this. If this was anyone else besides Hillary Clinton, do you really think the FBI wouldn't swear them in under oath? Do you really think that they wouldn't record this meeting? And furthermore, the fact that this is Hillary Clinton, the fact that this case is so public, gives you even more reason to record it, because the public deserves to know what was said in that interview. Now look, the fact that they didn't swear her in doesn't mean that she wouldn't be held liable in court for perjury, which we all know she probably committed as well. But, I mean, look, there's a public interest in this case. You have to record it. So the fact that you didn't is just angering, and he already came to the conclusion before he started the investigation. Probably he had his mind made up. It's Hillary Clinton. I'm not going to touch this. I'm not crazy enough. Now, finally, the very last part that I want to share is how James Comey admitted that Hillary Clinton granted non-cleared people access to classified information, her attorneys. However, he couldn't prove that they actually read the classified material. Oh, come on, man. So, in other words, he's given Hillary Clinton the benefit of the doubt in every single circumstance here. There are multiple reasons to believe that she is guilty, and in every single case, well, we can't prove this, we can't prove that. Yeah, you can. You can prove that. If they were handling the classified information, then of course they read it. If you set up the private email server, of course you have intent. It's just so frustrating. So look, if you ever wanted proof that we live in a two-tier justice system, this case is it right here, because we have one set of rules that don't apply to the rich and the powerful. They only apply to the peasants. And all throughout this hearing, James Comey maintained that the FBI is apolitical. They didn't treat Hillary Clinton any different. That's complete bullshit, because you do not give the same standard to people. Look at Brian Nimashira. He's someone who I'll talk about in a little bit, who did less than Hillary, and he was prosecuted. So if you're a Clinton, you can get away with whatever you want. If you're rich and powerful, you can get away with any and everything. Any prosecutor will tell you that it's really easy to get an indictment. The famous saying is, you can indict a ham sandwich, it's so easy. Yet James Comey couldn't even utter the words, I recommend an indictment, even though the decision wasn't ultimately up to him. It was up to the Justice Department. He couldn't even recommend it, in spite of all the evidence that we have that's publicly available. That shows you how corrupt our justice system is, how the rules and the laws don't apply to the rich and the powerful. It's frustrating. It's just disgusting. Now, finally, a probe into Clinton's emails has been reopened by the State Department officially. Although Hillary Clinton is not the only target, also her advisors are targets, such as Huma Abedin, Jake Sullivan. But honestly, this probe is inconsequential because, well, the worst that can come out of this is administrative sanctions. So they can get their security clearance stripped. Her advisors can. So the worst that could happen is that can make it difficult for them to be advisors to Hillary Clinton if she does become president. So in the end, this new probe, it's not going to mean much. It's too late. And Hillary Clinton is going to get away with breaking the law because, she didn't intend to. Let's give her the benefit of the doubt, guys, even though she specifically knew setting up a private email server that she would be sending and receiving classified information, because if she didn't, then that's just embarrassing. But we know that Hillary Clinton is not stupid. She's very intelligent. She's very smart. She's very calculating. So there you have it, guys. James Comey, it's very clear now. I think this hearing was necessary, and I think that it shed a lot of light on the case. He's too afraid to recommend an indictment to Hillary Clinton because she's rich and powerful.